Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 14 of Season 2 of the F122 HAAS Road to Glory. Yes, we're back today, ready for the Hungarian GP. If you missed out on last week's video from La Castellet, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. Of course, you know, the HAAS Road to Glory, it's had its ups, it's had its downs so far during Season 2. But yeah, the French Grand Prix last weekend was certainly a race to remember there. But of course as well, before I jump in with some spoilers, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support as we head into 2023. You know, only a couple of weeks now before we've got car reveals, winter testing, and then Formula 1 is going to be back into full swing once again. So very much looking forward to that in the not too distant future as well. But having a look then at the moment, we have got a fair few R&D points spare. Sadly, I don't think we knew any worthwhile upgrades at the moment. We're kind of just waiting for the team to continue developing on the facilities, so we may as well just do some durability stuff whilst we've got the points to spare. But yeah, championship-wise, currently the gap between myself and Max Verstappen, 18 points as we head in towards the Hungarian GP. We're second overall still in the Constructors there with a 14-point lead over Ferrari. We do desperately need Kevin Magnussen just to pull out his finger a little bit more, but locked into battle then with the Dutchman and of course those Red Bull cars. Hungary, I'm not convinced it's going to be a track that suits us particularly well, but you never know what can happen. Let's jump into it though, straight on of course into qualifying. Well, I was pleasantly surprised to see Friday's free practice. Kevin Magnussen ended up top of the timesheets. Of course, you never really get a fair representative of what everyone's doing, but maybe, just maybe, this weekend KMAG is sort of back in the groove. He's either really on it or nowhere to be seen in a lot of weekends. So we've got to hope in the second half of the year, especially after the summer break, that he is really on it more often than not. But plenty of traffic, though, as we start our first qualifying run. Try and just make sure we keep it clean and tidy there, as you've got to be so careful of that curb. Oh, Daniel Ricciardo, come on, move out of the way, man. Why didn't you pull out of the way there? You can literally see he's saving battery at the moment, and he's giving me plenty of dirty air to worry about. He does slide out of the way in the end. Definitely costs us a little bit of time as we wind our way in towards Sector 3 there, using up the curb on the exit. But Nick Schumacher, our former teammate, now just in front of us as we wind our way through the final couple of turns. It has not been the ideal first lap here in qualifying, but we've still got to try and put the time on the board as we round our way through the final turn. Be careful, of course, of the inside wall. Open up the DRS up towards the line. It's going to be a 1:15.8. Slower than Albon. Oh no, he's in a Williams, isn't he? Okay, panic slightly averted, but still not where I wanted. Right, well, the pace from Kevin Magnussen seems to be real then as we get ready to start our final lap. Currently fastest on a 1:15.2 is our teammate. We're 6 tenths away from that, so it is very bunched up, but both championship contenders, myself and Verstappen, 10th and 12th respectively, so we've got to try and get the lap nailed. We've got to hope that the Dutchman bottles it, because that could be a big opportunity to take some points out of him this weekend. Let's try and get a good lap here around the Hungaroring and try and knock Kevin Magnussen off his perch. Completely messed up the final corner, but up towards the line. We are still going to improve. It's going to be P3. HAAS 1-3 on the grid is, I think, our most successful qualifying session of the year, but I can't help but felt we could have had more. Well, there we go then, the end of qualifying here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And Kevin Magnussen, he has pulled his finger out one final weekend, of course, before the summer break. Perez P2 ahead of myself there, so Checo in a HAAS sandwich, ready for the Grand Prix. But yeah, 2/10 off pole, we definitely could have had it, but Verstappen down in P12, there is a golden opportunity here to head into the summer break with a championship lead. Let's get into it though, the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Welcome to Budapest once again for another round of Formula One action. Historically, a good race for first-time victories, with Button, Hill, Alonso and Heikki Kovalainen all reaching the top step of the podium for the very first time right here. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Kevin Magnussen yesterday puts him on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Norris, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Albon, Leclerc, Russell, Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon, Gasly, Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas and Stroll, Joe, Sainz, Sebastian Vettel and Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Natalie Pinkham. Now, our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get a clean start. And this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space. And finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Yeah, Mark, I'm not sure you understand the gravity of this weekend, mate. We could take the lead back in the Drivers' World Championship here, depending on how well Max Verstappen gets on. But of course, we all know how difficult it is to overtake around the Hungarian GP. For those of you interested in what setup I'm running, I'll quickly scroll through the numbers. Pause the video if you want to have a look there. But mediums to hards, though, is going to be the strategy here today. You know, we need to try and get a good start on the run down towards turn 1. But KMAG on the pole, Perez alongside him, us in P3. There is a big opportunity not only for us to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship, but maybe take big points out of Red Bull as well. 7 cars from 6 different teams inside the top 7 on the grid as well. There is a big opportunity for a lot of teams to deliver a big result. Like I said, I think this would mathematically go down as Perez, come on! You're on the other side of the circuit. Perez wants to give me no room whatsoever there. That was mental from the Mexican. But like I was trying to say, I think this would mathematically count as Haas's best ever qualifying session in Formula 1. I'm pretty certain we have not had a 1-2 yet, so that was close. Just about keep it in the purple. Let's see if we can try and get a good start then here at the Hungaroring, waiting on one of the Alpha Tauris at the rear of the field. And now we have got to concentrate. 5 red lights. Oh, lights out and away we go there, and that one completely took me by surprise. Was not expecting the lights to go out as quickly as they did, and it looks like Perez got held up a little bit as well there as we head down towards turn 1. We're going to try and swoop back to the inside of Alex Albon there as Hamilton and Lando Norris will both make it past myself, but aggressively cut across not only the Alpine but also the Ferrari car there is really struggling to try and get the car where I need it off the start. Albon tries to dive it back at the inside of myself. We'll give him the room off the exit of the corner there as we head through turn 3. It is not 2x2 on lap 1 there, so a bit of congestion already behind us then. So I wonder what Verstappen has been able to do off the launch there. But Kevin Magnussen even, I should say, still leading the way though ahead of Checo Perez on this opening lap. Of course, Crofty mentioned in the intro, it's a good track for first-time winners in Formula 1. Are we going to get another first-time winner here this weekend as well? Kevin Magnussen, you know, he has certainly played second fiddle to myself so far this year, but maybe today can be the Danes' day as we round our way through the final sector of lap 1. Down to 5th place for us is not exactly what I had in mind there for a successful start to the Hungarian GP, but we've got to put it behind us. We've just got to get on with it. We've got a fast car here, much faster than I was expecting it to be this weekend, so we've got to try and utilise that. Well, let's ride on board then with Max Verstappen, see how he was able to make up a couple of places on the start here. You see 5 red lights, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. And immediately the Dutchman trying to slot into the middle of the circuit. He will get a slightly better run than Pierre Gasly down towards turn 1. They can see Ricciardo a bit slow on the outside as well. You can see myself there trying to cover off from Esteban Ocon as well. But Lance Stroll getting a run up the inside there of Max Verstappen through turn 1, so he hasn't actually gained anything just yet. There we go. Moves past the Aston Martin once again there as he heads down in towards turn 2. And you can just see, yeah, it hasn't been the explosive start I'm sure a lot of us were expecting. There is still Lance Stroll trying to keep the nose at the inside of the Dutchman as he winds his way into sector 2. Ocon now trying to have a look around the outside of George Russell there as we head into the middle sector. But yeah, Max Verstappen only at 1 place then off the start of this Hungarian Grand Prix. I think we were all expecting a bit more aggression there from the Dutchman, but of course he's got a big lead in the championship. Would hate to lose that. I'll tell you what though, as we round our way through the final couple of turns of lap 3, we have not quite got the race pace I'd hoped we would here. Magnussen is pulling free at the front of the field there. You can see another new fastest lap for our teammate. Only a tenth quicker than myself, but we're not getting any closer to Lando Norris, and the likes of Albon and Charles Leclerc, they're not falling back either here. We have just not got the pace. I've always said I struggle around the Hungaro ring, but I really thought after KMAG's heroics on Saturday, maybe we could try and emulate that here on Sunday, as Max Verstappen has already definitely moved up a few places. I think he's into P9 then of this Grand Prix. No, sorry, it will be P10. So every place he gains now is less points lost in the championship. There we go. Just a reminder of Max Verstappen behind us. New fast lap of the day for the Dutchman. He's still certainly a force to be reckoned with. And maybe a Verstappen fastest lap has given me a kick up the backside that I desperately needed early on in this GP. Finally now starting to take some good time at Lando Norris, but still the Dutchman, he did have some clear air. I'm sure that's practically all gone now. And he has closed up to the back of George Russell in this Grand Prix. Might find it a bit more difficult to get around a lot of these faster cars. Like I said, I was quite surprised actually how small the gaps were in qualifying. I mean, the HAAS driver, it's our teammate Kevin Magnussen. Mark just doesn't care. Definitely worked out where I'm struggling though in comparison to the AI around this circuit, and a lot of it is actually just the curbing around this Hungarian GP. Very, very bumpy curbs around a lot of the track. Of course, the AI can just sit on it. It doesn't matter to them. Of course, you get all that force feedback through your wheel, and it really does kind of throw the car around the place a lot more. So not a lot I can do about it. But yeah, it's just one of those weird little quirks that F122 has. I mean, we are now getting more and more towards the gearbox of Lando Norris, but sadly he's still tucked up in the DRS behind Hamilton and Checo, so we can't really do a lot about it. It has become quite a typical Hungarian GP, but this time around we've had a much better run as we head back down towards turn 1 to the inside of Lando Norris, and there we go, get it slowed down nicely into the apex, and we will finally start to make some forward progress once more in this GP there. KMAG is a few seconds clear at the road at the front of the field there. I'm loving seeing this from our teammate, but Hamilton, 8-time winner, of course, around the Hungarian GP. Checo Perez, no slouch as well, of course, in that Red Bull as we go purple sector 1. Still a little bit all over the place on some moments. You really do have to put a lot of hard graft in though to try and make a move work around this Hungarian GP. AI is still so good through sector 3. So you can see that Hamilton able to get the throttle down. Big snap of oversteer there as we try and get the throttle down, but we are still going to get a good run. So we head back down towards turn 1. It's always going to have to be a dive bomb into that first corner there, but this time around Hamilton wiser to it, going to try and get the run off the corner. Are we going to see the Mercedes man keep it up the inside? Yes, he will. We'll give him the room through turn 2 there. This is beautiful racing between two top talents there. That sounds very, very up myself, but you know what I mean in the world of Formula 1 there. That is not a top talent line through turn 4, but finally back up then to where we started in this GP. Perez now, of course, won't have the DRS, so he might be a bit easier to navigate And then HAAS, they're going to be on for a 1-2. Just over 1/3 distance then in this Grand Prix. It's not going to be long before we start thinking about when we need to pit there. You can still see how much I'm sliding the car around, trying to get the throttle down as early as possible on some of these corner exits. We are going to be closer to Checo this time, but you can see Perez, he's watched 2 cars already lose places, so he's going to try and sit a bit defensive, but not defensive enough. As we get back down towards the one there, clearly the Mexican thought we were going to be too far back to go for anything, but yeah, really channeling our inner Daniel Ricciardo this weekend. Of course, out of a drive for Real Life 2023. Has set new fast lap of the day, actually, though, in this GP just a couple of laps back. But HAAS now with a 1-2, I think, genuinely for the first time in this career mode. It has been a fantastic start to this GP. Now we're back up the order. Surely now, if we get closer to KMAG, Gunther is going to start pulling his hair out. The team want me in at the end of this lap, and I'm not joking. I think the last 4 laps we've done have all been within half a tenth of each other. The consistency has been phenomenal in the second half of this first stint. Oh, not doing that though, won't do us any favours, but we have closed up the gap to Kevin Magnussen. So the team want me to go for the undercut. I'm guessing he's planning on boxing at the end of 17. Well, that's a bit wide, but I am tempted to just try and go a couple of laps longer here. I do not want to come out in traffic further back, because we've only got 2 seconds to Checo. I do want to try and extend this stint if possible. So you know what, going around the rest of this lap, I think we will pit at the end of this one as we wind our way through the final couple of turns. Kevin Magnussen, yep, luckily will stay out there. Going to be a miscommunication down at HAAS because of it, but into the pit lane we'll go then. Just got to make sure that I tack nicely on the entry there, but make sure, as always, that we get it slowed down on the marks. Of course, the great thing about being in the HAAS car is the pit box is right down the end of the lane, so we don't have to worry about potentially getting held up by other cars heading into the pit lane. But are we going to come out in some traffic? No, it doesn't look like we will. But I've actually come out with a lot of clear air, so I'm not too sure how we've managed that. We've only lost 2 places. Sorry, 3 places even. I can maths. Yeah, we're back out then in P5 of this Grand Prix, so a lot of cars boxing earlier then this afternoon. But we've got to try and get the tyres up to temperature, because of course when KMAG boxes, then we can try and capitalise. On our way through the final couple of turns though, of course those 4 top cars into the pit lane, so at the very worst we should re-emerge in P2, but it does take quite a lot to fire up these tyres as Checo Perez aiming out the pit lane. He's going to be a lot closer with Sergio than I ever thought it would be, but we've got tyres that are up to temperature now. We can afford to push on. Kevin Magnussen certainly doesn't, so we should take a bit of time out of him this lap. Yeah, the gaps are pretty much exactly what they were. Half distance though here at the Hungaroring. There's still a lot left to be decided. What will HAAS do? Will it be a Fernando is faster than you? Or will they allow Kevin Magnussen, whoa, to try and get his first ever Formula 1 victory? Yellow flag, someone's got issues. Oh, it's one of the Mercs. I think it's Russell out of the GP then. So George Russell, I'm guessing that engine has gone up in smoke, but sadly for me, I'm not too worried about that. No, he's still going. It's one of the Ferraris, in fact. No, an Alfa Romeo. Can't quite work out who's going off, but yeah, I think it is one of the Alfa Romeos. This engine might have expired then here. They were running quite well. No, it's no one at all. That's very odd. Oh, there we go. New fastest lap of the day. So we cross 3/5 distance, 60%. Bonus point could come in handy as we head into the summer, but the gap to KMAG still over a second. Oh, Sainz has just nabbed me fastest lap. I've got no idea what the McLaren and the Ferrari are doing so far down the roster. I'm guessing they've been put on a 2-stop strategy for whatever reason, but yeah, just 11.5 laps to go then here from the Hungaroring, and we are still trying to close in on Kevin Magnussen. We're actually pulling away from all the other cars at the moment. It's not quite the same sort of dominance, but it is giving me Bahrain 2014 vibes when the 2 Mercs were battling it out and still pulling away from the cars behind. But are we going to be able to get a chance to get the jump on Kevin Magnussen? Or is our teammate this weekend finally coming to his own? 5 laps to go then here from the Hungaroring. I apologise this race hasn't been loaded with commentary. It's genuinely, I think, one of the most difficult races I've ever done. We have been pushing non-stop pretty much from the beginning there, and the problem is we are definitely quicker than Kevin. but any small mistake I get, of course, he just pulls away half a second or a second, and I've got to just gather up the time once more. But this team, remember, 2 seasons ago finished last with 0 points to their name. They brought in myself last year. We got the HAAS first ever win. Steady on, Matt. And now we're fighting for 1-2s and a potential championship. We've got to keep trying to apply the pressure to KMAG, but those are exactly the sort of mistakes I'm talking about. Just trying to hang so close to our teammate through the tight technical section so we can get a run at the final corner. 3 more laps to go here. We're still setting very, very competitive times. Perez 7 seconds back now under pressure from Hamilton and Lando Norris there. As you can see just how close we get to KMAG down at turn 1. There's been no team orders just yet, but like I said, surely... I think we all know the kind of words Gunther Steiner is going to be using on the pit wall right now. I can picture him with his head in his hands, just panicking, because 43 points on the line this weekend. All of Haas's troubles in the past would go away with this result, but will it be Kevin Magnussen trying to claim his first ever victory, or do we help myself out, of course, in our championship battle with Max? Right in the final few corners, though, about to start the last lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we all know we're only really going to get one more shot of this. It is going to have to come down at turn 1. The rest of this track, it's just impossible to overtake at there. As you can just see a tiny bit of oversteer as we head our way in through the final corner. Kevin Magnussen has got a fantastic run out of the final turn there. Will we be able to get close enough to our teammate as we head back down in towards the first corner? No, we won't be able to get a look in there. Magnussen, he's done the hardest part of the challenge on this final lap here from Hungary, and what a story it has been from Kevin Magnussen. He is not home and dry just yet. He's still got to try and complete these last 2.6 or so miles of the Hungaroring, but Kevin Magnussen has seen it all in Formula 1. Came into the sport in 2014 with McLaren there, took a podium on his debut, and he's not had one since until this season. He's been on the roster a couple of times at the end of GPs, of course, most recently at the Austrian Grand Prix just a couple of races ago, of course, where we had our power unit failure. But Magnussen, he has been in and out of this sport. He got dropped at the end of 2014 by McLaren, picked up by Renault in 2016, made the move to HAAS and got dropped by them at the end of 2020. He has been so up and down in the world of Formula 1, but 3rd time returning to the sport that both he and his father dreamt of winning. In Magnussen round the final corner. Kevin Magnussen is a Grand Prix winner.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a great finish. Well done.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for HAAS. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
HAAS are no doubt happy with today's performance, having secured the win here this weekend, and our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations as we speak. So let's review the updated driver standings. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Carlos Sainz would be my first choice for this race. He had excellent race stamina, giving him the opportunity to charge through the ranks.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Kevin Magnussen finally is atop the F1 world there. We pushed him right the way through to the checkered flag, but genuinely I never was finding a way around the Dane there. A fantastic drive by him, and of course I'm pretty certain he's having surgery this weekend on his hand as well in real life, so wishing the best of luck with that as well there. But Perez P3, it's Haas' first ever 1-2 in Formula 1 as well. Surely now the road to glory is complete there. Hamilton beats out Norris and Albon to the flag there with Leclerc ahead of Max Verstappen there. 4 places gained for the Dutchman. Not a bad recovery when you think at the Hungaroring there. Ocon and Gasly, the 2 Frenchmen, rounding out the top 10 there. But yeah, Sainz and Ricciardo on a 2-stop strategy. Still not quite sure how that works. George Russell must have had a mechanical failure on the final lap because he's poached away fastest that point there with a 1:02 lap time. So that is quite good going by the Mercedes man as well. But Drivers' Championship-wise, 4 points now in it between myself and Max Verstappen as we head into the summer break. Then Magnussen jumps Carlos Sainz a bit further down, and Hamilton gets the jump on Daniel Ricciardo as well. Hamilton P9 in the Drivers' Championship. They're certainly not the year he would have wanted so far. Constructors-wise, though, we pull leaps and bounds ahead of Ferrari this weekend. In fact, now, the gap is practically as close to Red Bull in front as it is to Ferrari behind there. About 50 points between Red Bull and us, about 50 points between us and Ferrari, and about 50 points between Ferrari and McLaren, and about 50 points as well between McLaren and Mercedes there. So there's a lot still to be decided, but it is going to require quite a point swing in the second half of this campaign. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return very, very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.